Hey everybody, Kim here, Little Biz Resources. Hi, I'm trying to use this camera thing that it removes the background so you don't have to see all my chaos, but I'll turn it off in a minute because it's just kind of distracting. But I want to say hi while I quick check to see if we are even live and if you can hear me, since I had to uninstall and reinstall my microphone. So it's just technology. I like to push it to the limit. So let's just check and make sure we are live. It says we are. And do we have sound? Uninstall and reinstall. Yep, we have sound and I'm delayed. Obviously you can tell by that I'm delayed. So let's mute that, but leave it on just in case, because sometimes I get more information. All right, so you've kind of sort of seen me with you can't see me do this, but the chair is a problem with this particular background removal thing. So I just thought I'd say hi. I think this is the first time I've ever been on camera, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it off now so it's not distracting, because it's distracting to me. Okay, sorry, I'm still got asthma, never going to go away. So occasional issues there. Let's talk about the Merchlet Marketplace. For those of you who don't know, Chrissy and I have been creating a marketplace where, I don't want to say it's an Etsy competitor, because it really isn't. Etsy is still Etsy. It's always going to be there. We always recommend you stick with marketplaces, but we started our own marketplace. So for those of you who don't know, you'll have to take a look at I'll put a link in the description after we're done to the page that kind of talks about it. But the problems that we've been having is that we had a payment processor issue. We were going to just add PayPal on, but as you can see by my second bullet, we can't add PayPal because it's against their terms of service. So I actually had it all connected, ready to go. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I need to go through and make sure that I include, in fact, it says in our terms, if you look in our terms, it says these are from PayPal, right? And I put all this stuff in there. And then at the bottom of the terms, it says cannot use on marketplaces. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I took it off. We got our own payment processor, and I just got added about 15 minutes ago, and that's because I was on with support, but we still need to test and everything. So we're not ready to take orders yet, and you'll see by the site there's not a whole lot of products or anything on there, because that's the second part we're doing, integrations and connections. So what we're currently working on, which I think I've talked about this before, but the Etsy API, which API, I don't know what it stands for. I can't remember now, but it's basically the information, the public access information that people will connect between databases. I mean, all these companies use that to talk to each other. That's how integrations and connections work, is usually through an API. Well, the Etsy API has been and continues to be a complete nightmare. So, and this is not for me, this is for technology in general, which is why you'll see so many places, like, for example, if you're familiar with Zapier has a lot of connections. They don't touch Etsy. They say it's coming soon, but it's been coming soon for years. Why? Because the Etsy API itself is a nightmare. Now that I've played with it, I'm going to give you an example of this. I have to tell from Etsy to our website. So just pretend it's Etsy to Amazon. You would want to say, okay, Etsy, if I list on Etsy, I want it to list on Amazon, and I want it to be on the same category, right? Well, how do you find category on the Etsy API? Well, you think you just go to category and say, well, this is the category here and this is the category here. No. Category on Etsy is called taxonomy. Joy. And that's a new thing. So the Etsy API is really difficult, and I thought I got it all mapped and ready to go, and then I tested it and it told me there was a major issue. So I'm still working with it. We use a third-party company to talk between the two, and I'm still working with them to get it all set up. So Etsy is going to work to Merchlet, where if you're already listed on Etsy, you can push the products you currently have over to Merchlet. That's Merchlet is the marketplace, right? Ours. Then once you've done that once, we're going to eventually make it so that when you post on Merchlet, you can go out to Etsy, you can go out to all these different places, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But we also are trying to do Etsy to Merchlet for inventory management. So if you have inventory, like I sell ornaments, right? If I have 10 ornaments, I'd like to list them on both places, but when one sells on one, I want it to update the other. Right now, again, this is going to be with Etsy. If it sells on Etsy, it could take 15-20 minutes before it updates on Merchlet. But I can have Merchlet. If it sells on Merchlet, it should update Etsy within like 1 or 2 minutes, right? It's just, that's the Etsy API. So just to give you a heads up there for those of you who are on Etsy. So we want it to be able to control inventory between the two. Then in Printful, that's another one where those are the two top ones I'm working on to start with. And Printful is the print on demand company that we work with. And we're going to have it so that when you put products on Printful, because that's where you have to create them, you can then just push them over to Merchlet, right? I say push them over, it might be pull over, whatever, so that when you create them on Printful, you can then load them up onto Merchlet. Then Printful to Merchlet for inventory management. So if something goes out of stock, it'll be out of stock on our marketplace as well for your product, because you don't want to sell something and then have to go, oh, sorry, that's out of stock, and refund it. It might still happen, but at least it should reduce that chance. I mean, if they have 5 quantity, then, and if somebody buys the last one, there should be, I should say, not always, but there should be some expectation that there could be a problem if it's the last one. In fact, that's a strategy on Amazon. Some people say, oh yeah, put that you have one left and people will buy it. And other people go, no, if you put you have one left, you'll never sell it because people don't want to buy the last one. I land in both boats, by the way, where it just depends on the product, because if it's like electronics or something and it says one left, I don't want it. I'm almost guaranteed it's going to be broken, so I don't want it. But if it's something else like, I don't know, wall hanging, or I don't know, something that's fun, and I don't care if it's, if I have to return, it's not a big deal or whatever, I'll do it then. But for the most part, if there's one left, I don't go for it. So anyway, so that's where I think it's not going to be too big of a deal, but we want to make sure that you're not listing products that are out of stock, and then people can't buy products that are out of stock. And then we want to make sure that we have, Printful to Merchlet, and Merchlet to Printful. Merchlet to Printful would be more for making the actual purchase, and then updating in between, everything in between. Then the third part of what I'm currently, the first 3 integrations, so that's Etsy, Printful, and then email marketing. And that would just be if somebody makes a purchase on Merchlet, then it would go to your email marketing. Probably Aweber to start with, but we can do Aweber, ActiveCampaign, some others. So if there's one that you prefer, make sure you mention it, because I can look and see if it's currently available or not. Eventually, we're going to add in Mailview, but that could be 6 or 8 months down the line. So here's an overview of where we're going for those of you who missed my post on it. And this is actually the post I would, tell you to check out if you're interested in the marketplace. Is that we have our marketplace here, which is Merchlet, which I can change this. I can update this picture now, because this was back when we didn't have the name announced. But we're going to make it so that when you post here, that this is kind of like your home base. Now, if you have your own website right here, your own website, that's good. We still encourage that. And you can even still have it managed all that way instead, right? But because there's a lot of problems with integrations, and we're trying to keep it as cheap as possible for people, we don't want you to have to pay for integrations. Like Shopify integrations are expensive, right? If you're on Shopify and you're paying it's like $30 or $40 for the lower level one, and you're like, okay, well, I want a good integration to whatever, to eBay or something. There might be one that exists that's free, but typically they don't work very well. But if you want to integrate to Printful, I think that one is free, and that one does work okay. But you're like, okay, I want to integrate to my email marketing. I want to integrate to here. I want to integrate to here. By the time you're done, you're probably paying like $100 a month or more. And I know that there are many places that offer that for that inventory management part, where you might be able to integrate for some things, but you can't integrate for inventory management. So there are companies that charge, hundreds of dollars a month just to integrate your sites, and it's based on number of orders. So hopefully we don't have to get to that point, because there's a lot of expense in what we're doing, but we're hoping to keep it as cheap as possible. And of course, for beta users, we're going to keep that as cheap as we can for you. And right now it's going to be free, because you're going to help us test. That's the whole point of it, right? So we can also integrate with WooCommerce and Shopify eventually, and Groove is in the future. Now, I'll tell you what, Groove is closing their lifetime access, which we'll be talking about a lot. But I think even if you don't want to pay for Groove, you should get the free version. And that's because our plan is to eventually connect with Groove. I've already been in discussions with the company that our third-party company we're working with. And we told them that. They're looking at it. They're like, well, it's kind of complicated, but let's see what we can figure out. And this Groove has got a lot of resources. So they have Groove Cart, which is an e-commerce solution. They've got Groove Funnels, which is a funnel solution. Groove Pages, which is a website solution. They've got Groove Mail, which is an email marketing solution, right? They've got all of these built as like an all-in-one platform, and they've got webinar stuff. They're going to eventually have support portals, Groove Desk. And so there's a lot of different functionality there. And when this is over, I'll make sure that the links to all of this stuff are put in the description. I didn't have them available when I posted this last night. But I want you to understand that it's a really great opportunity, free or paid, right? Paid is excellent. I mean, it's a lifetime access, but the free version is good as well. And if you're like, hey, I'm trying to minimize my costs, Groove is the way to go. Even if you don't get the lifetime now and you end up having to pay later, their monthly cost is going to be way cheaper than paying for all the different things, right? So I do recommend that. Like I said, their Groove cart, we're trying to integrate our marketplace with Groove. It might take a while, but we'll get there eventually. So, and you'll see I have Groove here, right? Groove. And that's because email marketing, Groove has Groove Mail, and then they have Groove Membership is another one. We're going to put our membership and our training in there. So in addition to marketplaces, which right now are getting started with Etsy, eventually we're going to be doing Amazon and eBay. Bonanza is on the radar, but it's going to be way down the line because they're not connected anywhere. They have a public API and everything, but we've got to work with it, right? So it's going to take us some time to get that built on as well. And then email marketing, Mailvio is later and Groove is later, but Aweber and MailChimp we can do now. So if you prefer MailChimp, let me know. Aweber has a free version. I know MailChimp does too. And I think I've told you guys this before. The reason why I've been hesitant to work with MailChimp again is because, and I don't know what their current terms are because I don't use them right now, but I've had MailChimp in the past I had it for quite a few years. I had it both email marketing or in e-commerce and for affiliate marketing. And while e-commerce, it was okay, they had delivery problems back when I was doing this. Was probably 5 years ago, right? So it's changed a lot. They've improved and everything. But the other thing that they were doing, because they had their free level, which I still don't know if they do or not anymore, was that they were like, okay, if they were targeting affiliate marketers. And so all these people think that if it's affiliate marketing is great, but they had a change about 5 years ago, which is why I stopped using them. And that they basically sent out something saying, if you're doing affiliate marketing, you're no longer welcome on our platform. Now, that may have changed since then, but because I received that email from them saying, hey, we really don't support affiliate marketing, I went to other options, right? And so now I'm with Mailvio, and then we'll have Groove as well. So those are the two that we're going to have. I have Aweber by default because that's the only thing that integrates with Etsy, but it's going to go away when I can go from Etsy to my marketplace. Bye-bye Aweber for me. Now, I know you guys, they have a free version, so I know it's something you may want to do. So you can, instead of connecting straight to Etsy, you can take it into the marketplace into Aweber if you want. Or you can just take it from Etsy to Aweber right now if you want to. It's up to you. And then here's some other ones. We do have the capability to have Messenger on your particular shop. So if somebody has a question, they can pop into Messenger. And what makes that amazing is that you can add a bot, right? You can add a Messenger bot. Now, I've tested a couple of them, and I'm waiting to see. One of them's more expensive and one of them's super cheap, right? So I want to do a little bit more testing before I tell you how to do them all. That'll be part of our training. But that is, if you're familiar with chatbots, it's basically you're running a chatbot and you're just having the entry point be on the website, right? And it's so simple. There's nothing new to it. It's just, here you go. Here's the opening to it. They would send a question or whatever, and your bot would auto reply and say, hey, thanks so much. I'm George, the bot for such and such a page. And I just want to make sure I get your question directed to the right person. Can you select from one of the bottom three so I can get you started, right? So if they have a question about a product, then you can have that, you can have information there, or you can have it so that, thanks so much. I'm not at, we don't have somebody live right this moment. They're with helping somebody else, but put in your email, we'll get back to you, put in your phone number, we'll call you, whatever it is you want to do, right? That's all part of chatbots. And that is something that you can't do with Etsy, right? You can't do that with Etsy. You can't do that with Amazon. I don't think you can even do that with eBay, right? You can't do those with marketplaces because the marketplace believes that it's their customer. And while we understand that there is an element of when they buy on our marketplace that is our customer, it is your customer as well. They're buying your product, they're engaging with your marketing, they're engaging with you, and we want to make sure that, that your customer service can reach them, right? And that's the whole idea behind that. So that's why we left that on there. That's a great feature that we still think is wonderful. Google Shopping options will be later on as well. And then of course we're doing Printful. So lots and lots of what we're doing is going to make it so that you can manage everything kind of in one place. I won't say all the way in one place because I'm sure there are things you're doing that can't be managed. at this moment. Some people may go, oh, I want SMS. Well, we do have that capability. We just haven't implemented that on the site because it's a little bit more convoluted and complicated, right? So all of these technologies require an element of knowledge, I should say. And while I can do 90% of it, the 10% I can't do, we're going to have to get help with later on. All right, so if you haven't signed up already, you can sign up for an account, which we'll talk about in a minute. But when you sign up, you need to submit your ID and address, and it needs to match where we send your payments. Okay, so we're going to do what we call account verifications. And the reason why is because we are not Etsy, we are not Amazon, and we're living in 2022. When they started, they probably got a pass, and I can't guarantee this, they could have got sued galore, I don't know. But they probably got a pass on a lot of different things that happened on their marketplaces simply because there were no laws in place. Now there's lots of laws in place. Even Etsy has this problem right now where they're just shutting down accounts because they don't want to set up a verification in advance. We're going to set up the verification in advance. We want to make sure you understand what you're doing. We want to make sure that you have communication with us because it's the infancy, right? Kind of like an invitation only, but if I don't know you, it's okay. I'll get to know you, right? We'll get to know you through this process. But we need an ID and an address that match where we're sending the payments. Now to get paid, this is what everybody wants to know how to get paid, right? We're going to initially have delays just like every other marketplace. And that's mostly because we need to get everything running smoothly before we can increase payment times. Plus it costs us money to send over so many, to send it as often as Etsy's doing. I'm sure Etsy spends a ton of money sending your payments to you, which they recover in all of the fees you pay them. So instead of increasing our fees and increasing our costs and matching what everybody else is doing, we're going to reduce the number of times you get paid. Now, look, I sell on Amazon, guys. I sell on Amazon. I get paid every 2 weeks. That's what I get paid every 2 weeks, right? And there's delays on everything. It's been that way since I've been on Amazon since 2013. And there was one time, usually during the holidays, where they in fact, this last time they claimed that too. You can get your payment the next day. Doesn't ever work. At least not for me. So I probably don't do enough in sales for them to even care about my support questions or anything. So whatever. But I know that even at the lower amounts, it's difficult. So we're going to try to increase that as often as possible. It will not be every day like Etsy right now. That's just too costly for us. So instead, we're going to do is, we're going to have a set time. We're still determining that. It's based on banks. It's based on how we can get payments processed and everything else. Now, payment, if you want to get paid by PayPal, if you're like, hey, just send me PayPal payment, PayPal takes a fee. That's not us, that's them. So we have to send it to you as a commercial, as a business to business payment, and they're going to take a fee. That's your choice. So when it comes time and I'm entering the information into our systems, you're going to enter your information, either a PayPal address and or a bank account information. Now, bank transfers, so far right now, no cost because we don't have anybody we're paying, and we can do that for a certain amount for free. And we may be able to get that jumped up too. But I recommend you open a dedicated account from our preferred bank, which is Novo. Now, there is a link that I'm going to put in the description. And it's going to actually go back to my website, just so you know, because that link is going to change based on when it's available and not available. So in the description, you're going to go back to, it'll go back to the website, and that website will give you instructions on how you can sign up and potentially get $40 when you open a new account. So if that's something you want to do, I recommend that. I do recommend you have a dedicated bank just for the marketplace. And that's just purely because it's new and I am scared to death that, I don't want it to be attached to everything for you guys. But it's up to you. If you're like, hey, I'm not worried about it, put your own account. That's fine. All right. But yeah, that's how you can get paid those 2 ways. And we'll have in the initial training, I actually have the video set up. I just have to get the training access set up. So that is on the things you can do while you wait, right? You can sign up for an account on Merchlet.com, go to the account, actually, let me show you guys just in case. Let me see if I can pull this up. All right. So for on Merchlet, go to Merchlet and you'll see this will change. What it looks like will change because we obviously don't have a lot of stuff on here, right? This will probably stay the same. And of course the footer will stay the same because we have the policies and legal pages. But you go to my account, sign up to sell. And then don't bother emailing me there. I can't ever get anything. But you register for an account when you click I am a vendor. Let's take this out because it's bugging me. You have your email address, password, first name, last name, shop URL, phone number, and then you agree to the terms and conditions, which are lengthy and will probably get added to regularly. And then you need to pick on beta. If you want integrations, pick integrations. If you don't want integrations, pick no integrations. And you'll see there is a difference, right? So if you want integrations, you're limited to 1,000 products right now. If you don't want integrations, you're limited to 2,000 products right now. And that's because integrations require a lot more resources. So we need to limit the amount of stuff that can go in there. 1,000 products is a lot, guys. You can get 40 listings on Etsy for free, and that's only for 4 months. Okay, so we're letting you guys come on, start for free. Yes, we do have the fees in the back end, and we'll walk you through everything as we get going. But I want you to get started. Go ahead and submit your account if you're ready, and your shop URL. So like, for example, I have EP Laser already, but if you wanted to be EP Laser, you could do shop URL and the shop name. So like if I put in EP Laser, and then I'll check and see, this one says not available, right? So if I want my shop to be EP Laser, which by the way, I will deny it if you guys do this, because this is my brand, one of my brands. This one says it's available. Now there's no way for me to block that, so there's not much I can do about it other than create an account and have it show up on the site and it not be existing. So I don't want to do that. But if you want to do that, you see there's a dash there when there's a space. So just something to keep in mind when you're setting it up. And this can change. I don't know about the URL. I mean, I might be able to change it, but so that's how you get signed up. And then when you get signed up, hopefully within the next day or two, I'll have the training going. So start going through the settings, which again, the training, that'll be in the training. I'll walk you through everything. And that training section is coming in the next couple of days. I just have to get the access to it and finish loading it up, right? Then if you want to do print on demand, you can get your products created in Printful templates and then go, right? So, all right, I do not see any questions. I did post the announcement early enough so people could post questions. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. If you do have questions, reach out. If you can hop into the Facebook group. You can eventually, we'll have a support portal. I'm still building that. This is part of the reason why they tell you to hire people, right? The problem is when you're building something as big as we're building, nobody knows what they're doing. I just spent 45 minutes on the phone with our payment processor for the 3rd time because we couldn't get it set up in WordPress. And they're like, well, our plugin's working fine. And I'm going, I don't understand what's going on. Now, we just got set up with them. So it turns out that they had a wrong setting, that when they initially set up the account, that there was a setting that was missing. So thankfully, the support person today, very nice lady by the name of Latasha. Latasha, very sweet, very lovely, very, very knowledgeable. And she went through and she goes, oh, yeah, you're missing this stuff. So, but of course, she had to go through all of the steps first before she got to that point and said, why would this not be there? And I'm like, right? So good to know it's all set up though, and we will be testing it. And so if you do have questions, unfortunately, like I said, a lot of what we're doing is in my brain. And so even when I tell people, they're like, I don't know how to do it. So I just have to figure out how to do it. But when we get there, we will get there and it'll be amazing. And those of you who have been waiting will be rewarded. So if you're ready to get onto the marketplace, just start the account, and probably within the next week, you'll be putting listings on. And I'm going to say probably because I keep getting derailed by different challenges, right? Like the Etsy API. We might skip the Etsy API if it keeps giving us challenges, and we'll work on other stuff then and circle back to that one. But yeah, so if you do have other integrations you want, please, let me know what those are. If it's something that is realistic and reasonable, we can try to get it jumped up the list. If it's something that's going to take longer, we'll have to push it down the list and just add it onto our wish list. But yeah, that's it for now. If you guys, again, reach out with any questions, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.